Alright, so today we are going to be installing the Edge Nozzle. So Edge has two versions. They have the standard version and the long type version. The main difference is the long type version essentially limits the amount of movement that the nozzle can do. So if you have a very short stroked pistol, you're going to want to get the long type nozzle for sure. If that's not something that you care about, you can just get the standard type, and this is the standard type, which is what I'm using today. All right, so we're going to go ahead and start getting this all set up. So you're going to want to open up the bag, obviously. And inside of the bag, you have all this stuff. So we'll take out all the stuff. There is a tiny screw. Make sure you do not lose the tiny screw. And we are going to assemble the nozzle before we put it in the pistol, all right? Okay, so there's a tiny screw. All right, so basically, you will need just a tiny Phillips head screwdriver. Is basically the only tool you need for the nozzle part. And essentially how this works is the spring that's right here, the spring is going to go onto the lighthouse, all right? So it just goes onto the lighthouse like so. And then the lighthouse does have a little indentation. I don't know if you'll be able to see that, but there's a little indentation. That indentation is supposed to point upwards, essentially. So if you look at the little hole that's on the outside of the nozzle, like that, the indentation needs to be pointing towards that hole when you put it in. All right, so you can just slide it in, and you can always kind of readjust it once it's in there. Looks like I am not in. There I go. All right, and then you want to kind of line it up so it's in line with where it needs to be. And then this piece is also going to go in. So this piece, again, it has the little a little hole. That hole needs to line up with the hole that's on the outside of the nozzle. And then also, when you put it in, you need to make sure that you put it in like this. So this orientation, right? So the flat side goes towards where the little leg is sticking out, right? And then that means also that the holes are going to line up like that, right? So again, we will double check, kind of try to get the piece that's already in there lined up, and then we will just drop this in like so. And then once it's dropped in, you can go ahead and sort of try to orient it so it should be able to go in and out. So if you can see in that hole there, how I can move everything, it's actually under spring tension in there. You might need to use like a screwdriver or something instead of your finger, but in my case, I can use a finger because my finger is skinny enough. But essentially, if it is bouncing in there, you need to put the screw in now. So the screw just goes up through here, and it goes through that hole on the last piece that we put in. You need to push the pieces in until you get to that hole that was in the last piece. And once you get to the hole that was in the last piece, then you can put in this screw like so. It just screws in. And once it's screwed in, then you're all set, right? So now that that's screwed in, you need to put some lube on the inside of the nozzle. So I have some lube here. And I like to just spin around my finger on the inside. All right, so now the nozzle is essentially good to go. We just need to do the parts on the pistol now. So pistol, you need to remove your slide. So line it up with that notch right there. Then the lower we don't need, we just need the upper. So the upper, you need to remove your guide plug and guide rod. Where did mine is a bit of a pain, so I need to use a tool. But you should be able to do it with just your fingers. and then remove the barrels. And now you just have the blowback unit. So you are normally going to have a screw up here that you need to remove. I don't, so I'm going to skip that. And then there's also going to be a screw back here, right? You need to have I think it's a 2.5, yeah, 2.5 millimeter Allen wrench to unscrew that. I'm going to hold mine upside down. And then you can remove this whole thing. Right. And then while I am here, I'm going to be replacing my spring because I think my spring is worn. So the new spring. But this piece will come out like that. And then you just want to, while we're here, we can just re-lube some stuff. So you want to use lube on that O-ring there. I'll be back in 1 second. I'm going to clean this off a little bit. All right, so you want to put some lube on the O-ring. That was too much, but that'll be fine. And then you want to put your nozzle in. So nozzle, it basically, you need to rock it in. So you're going to take it like this orientation. So you see how there's the hole right there on the nozzle. You turn it this way, and then you kind of rock it in like that. And then now you're in. All right, so now the nozzle should be able to freely go back and forth. I like to do this a couple times just to kind of get the lube worked around in there. Once I think it's good, you can put your spring back down there. I got a thing there. Okay. Yeah, so spring back on that spot. And then you need to slide it into your gun again. All right, so make sure you line up where these little parts that stick out are. And once I get it pushed in, I flip it over, and then I'll put the spring back, or the screw back through. And once it's in, I do like to confirm that everything's working, so I'm going to pull back on the nozzle, make sure the nozzle returns, and it does, which is perfect. Then now we can put the rest of the stuff back in, like so. And then it's also a good thing, you also want to make sure that when you pull on the chamber, your nozzle is going to move with it. You definitely want that to happen. That's a good thing. And now that that's there, we can go ahead and put this on. So you just gotta squeeze the guide plug onto the guide rod, and then rock it into place. I need to rotate mine. Like so. And put it back on the lower. And drop everything back in. And just confirm, make sure that the gun is functioning. And if it is functioning, then you are all set and you are good to go. So yeah, I hope that was useful if you needed help with that. All right. And by the way, guys, I just installed the nozzle probably like 30 minutes ago. I've been dinking around with it, and it is actually shooting real nice. So definitely recommend this nozzle if that is something that you are needing. All right. Adios. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if this video was useful for you. And make sure you check out the link down below. That is a link to our Discord server, and you are welcome to join. All right. Have a nice day.